Let me start this commentary out with a question. Have you ever created something so amazing and wanted to do it for the rest of your life? And no matter how difficult or how hard the lifestyle of what you want to do is, you still want to pursue it? Hold that question. Welcome to Jamek Speaks, where passion is strength, strength is power, power is victory, and victory is the force. I am Lord Jamek the Blade, and I will be talking to you guys about art. It's a it's a very lovely thing that I enjoy a lot because I like to draw a lot and all that kind of stuff. It's one of my favorite things to do in life. Um, I mean, it's not the only thing I do, obviously, other than making these stupid videos and playing video games or just simply going outside or whatever. I like to sit down and really think to myself. And I only really like to draw anything in the dark. I don't know why. Unless someone is like encouraging me to draw during that moment in time, I only really like to draw when it's dark, when it's not outside. That's probably why for these two commentaries I've been doing them at midnight. That's probably going to be a trend, but I'm not going to keep any promises. Um, I'm going to get to my point. Just being an artist and other stuff, it's always been a thing that something that you should pursue if you actually believe that this is something that you want to do, something that you care about, something that you know so much about, and it should be something that you should be able to do and prove that you can do, and do it just as crazy as anyone else that you see, or people who compare themselves to others. And you compare yourself to others, compare yourself, but think of a way that if you're going to compare yourself to someone else, think of how you can do even crazier than the other person. And I mean, don't be an asshole about it. Obviously, don't think that you're better than that other person. That's never the answer. That you only fail because of that. Just think, this person did such a good job. How can I make this better? And all that kind of stuff is really just evolving the subject to even greater heights than it already was before. But basically, just do what you need to do to get where you are. And just getting technical things about art in general with me, I've been doing. I started drawing legitimately in second grade, and that's when I was encouraged to do it, and that's where the idea of it came in my mind. I didn't take drawing seriously until 5 years ago. I but like a while ago, I used to just draw out of random. I used to like look up something on the internet and try to like reenact it. I never traced. I don't believe in tracing, and basically, just so that you know, in from my definition, especially, if tracing is when you put the paper over something and then draw over it. Now I don't do that. What I will do is, like, especially way back before, I would have would have whatever it is drawing, picture of something or whatever, just displayed in front of me, and I would just look up and look at it, and then start drawing it, and then look down and start drawing it. And most of the time, 95% of the time, I was always on point all the time. And it may look like I was tracing because I was so close, and I was so close to being able to reenact the close alignings of how they did. And the reason for that is because I can see, like, the thing about me, I can see the patterns of other people's drawings, and I don't do that anymore, drawing off of someone else. But Whenever I look at people's drawings, I know what they did, and I can basically in my head imagine how they did it, and I'm usually right about it. And because of that, whenever um whenever just for some reason I feel like I want to draw your creature, or I want to draw your character and maybe even get it in your style, I can always just be able to do it because I either watched you draw it, or I can see it and I know what you did and I can follow through with that. Not a lot of people can do that. Only some people can only draw in their style, and I'm able to draw in different people's style, but I created my own style, obviously. Um, and I like my style. I enjoy it. It's not the best though. I'm always having room for improvement. I'm always trying to make better, bigger improvements than I did before. It's just always been a thing for me to do that, and I always will. It it I always, you know, like I always like to take what I do to the next level all the time. That's why I want to be an animator, all that kind of stuff so much, is because I enjoy drawing, and I find the movements of characters, like how beautiful they move and all that stuff, especially for like really good animators. I find it's just so overwhelming and amazing, and I always want to do it, and I will do it. I will be able to do it one of these days. I know I will. I believe I can. And I I I do want to say, just a little bit off topic, I like to teach people about a lot of stuff. I like to teach people things that I know, or I could tell them so that they can learn on their own. And one of the things that I like to teach a lot is I like to teach people how to draw and all that kind of stuff. And I enjoy doing that because it's always interesting to see how they would go after they've had their first steps into it. And it's either a make or break relationship. You're either gonna be into it or you're gonna not like it. Um, and it always dawns on me whenever I come across someone who gives up because the first thing that they didn't look good to them. But when they don't realize is that, oh, because it's not good now does not mean it's not going to be good later. If you were to keep doing it, or at least just dedicate a day to doing it, you will get it down. It's not that hard. I mean, some people can't really get it down immediately, but it just, everything requires practice, and your first impressions are never always the right thing to look at first. Because I mean, I used to draw terribly, or at least whenever I draw stuff out of my head, it was pretty bad. It was only when I drew from other people that was when I was good. And when the mixture between how I drew, and how other people drew that I went off of, it fused together to how I was able to learn how to do my stuff. And I was always a guy to like, I never really always got my inspiration based off of how other people did their stuff. So usually at the time I always get inspiration for how I did it. Like, oh, let me explain. Like, I drew something so good, and I was super proud of it, and that inspires me to do a better job on the next thing. Like, for example, and I want you to give this off on a test run a little bit. Just generalizing for myself for a minute. If you were to go to my lyric videos, which are in the playlist. You'll see them. And you were to watch the oldest one I did to the newest one I did, I guarantee you that every video, after one after another, the video after another, has been better than the one before that. I never follow the same criteria. I never follow the same thing. The only thing that I follow is the word per second thing that I don't think anyone else has ever done except for me, which is interesting. I've never seen anyone actually do that. Typographies kind of do it, but it's not the same. Mine's is a totally different thing. I don't even know what to call it. There's no real name to what I do. All I call is lyric and picture videos. But that's not a, it's not a name. It's not like typography where it actually has its own like thing to it. But I'll figure something out for that. But yeah, just you know, basically stuff like that. You should pursue what you need to do, and if all because you're not good at it at first does not mean you're never going to be good at it. You should always be the best at what you know and what you're good at doing. If you enjoy it, then that's the point. If you do not enjoy it, then that is not what you were meant to do. You should, I mean, that's just a realization. I never want to get a job that I don't enjoy, and if I don't enjoy it, then I will quit. I don't care about the money. I'm not a money person. Money is like the least important thing in my head ever, and that's just being honest with you. Nothing. I'm not greedy. It's not something that it is not something that dawns on me. It's not something that I find important at all. I don't care what it gives you. It's just, it means less to me than having a pencil. Like, that's just it. A lot of people, you know, people really value their money and all that kind of stuff. But if I didn't have to use it, then I wouldn't. That would be just how it is. I would rather do what I like and die because of it, than not do what I like and live longer. You understand? I've been working on stuff for a very long time, and I'm not going to stop here because of any type of thing. Nothing's going to get in my way because of it. And that's, you know, something that we should all take in to ourselves and to others. We have, you know, a lot of things that we like. We create these things, and when we look back at them, we don't like them anymore. And there are people who would get rid of them or throw them away because their now doesn't like what they did before. But the thing is, at the time, you fucking loved it. Like, it was the best thing ever when you made it. But since you got better at doing that thing, you start looking at your old stuff, you think it as lesser, but you shouldn't. It should stay. It shouldn't be destroyed. It shouldn't be gotten rid of. It should stay with you because it's a memory. It's something that was there. You can look back and be like, it was, you know, it was funny that I used to draw like this. And it was interesting. You know, I don't, you know, draw like this. I don't like how I used to draw, but I still appreciate that this is what got me to where I am today. And, you know, inspiration is everywhere about that kind of stuff, you know. Just looking at your old drawings can inspire you because you'll be so proud of the fact that you did better than you did before. You always did better than you did before. And, you know, that's always a good thing. That's just basically what I want to say about that. It's, you know, I hear it a lot from other people, you know, inspirational people who talk about stuff like that, like pursuing your dreams and all that stuff. And I mean, I'm never the cliche type. That's why I never said it. I mean, technically I said it, but I technically I didn't say it, so shut up. Yeah, just never, never let the first comment, the first impression, the first anything be the selling point until you know that this simply does not catch your eye, like you have no passion for it, then that's when you can stop. Otherwise, it's not fair for you to stop yet. But that's all I have to say for the moment. I'll talk to you guys later. I already rambled off too much for long enough already. I'll probably have another subject for you whenever I have a chance. Alright. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys later whenever I feel like it's time for me to speak Lord Jamek style.